They thought it was funny. Three teenagers, laughing as they poured cold Coca-Cola over a helpless German shepherd tied to a streetlight. They didn't know who was watching, and they had no idea that the dog's owner, the quiet man standing across the street, had once served in the Navy. What happened next would make the entire town remember this day forever. So before we dive in, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this story will remind you loyalty as a protector and justice as a name. It was a quiet Saturday afternoon in a small coastal town. The sun shimmered off parked cars and old shop windows. Near the corner cafe, a German shepherd sat patiently, tied to a post beside a bench. His name was Rex, disciplined, calm, and loyal to the bone. His owner, Commander Ryan Keller, was a retired Navy officer, a man of few words, but the kind of man who carried quiet storms behind calm eyes. Years of service had taught him one thing: protect those who can't protect themselves. He'd gone inside the cafe to grab a cup of coffee, leaving Rex outside for just a few minutes. But for those few minutes, cruelty found its chance. Three teenage boys came down the street, loud, careless, and full of mischief. They spotted Rex, sitting tall and proud, his leash glinting in the sunlight. One of them laughed. "Look at this tough dog. Think he'll bark if I give him a drink?" Before anyone could stop them, one boy cracked open a cold bottle of Coca-Cola and splashed it over the dog's head. The liquid dripped down Rex's face, his fur sticky and soaked. He didn't growl. He didn't bite. He just looked down, ashamed, hurt, confused. The boys burst into laughter. They didn't see the man stepping out of the cafe. Commander Keller froze for a second, coffee cup in hand, watching the humiliation of the dog who had once saved his life. In that instant, something deep within him, that quiet storm, came alive again. Keller didn't shout, didn't rush. He walked toward them slowly, calm, controlled, like a soldier on a mission. The tallest boy turned around, smirking. "What, old man, you want to sip too?" Keller's voice was steady. "That's my dog." The laughter died instantly. Rex lifted his head, eyes locked on his owner, a flicker of hope returning. Keller knelt beside him, gently wiping the sticky liquid from his fur with his bare hands. "It's all right, buddy," he whispered softly. Then, standing tall, he turned to the boys. "Apologize." The boys exchanged nervous looks, but the one in the red hoodie scoffed. "It's just a dog, man. Chill." There was silence, the kind of silence that makes even the wind stop moving. Keller stepped closer, not angry, not yelling, but every inch of him radiated control. His Navy training had taught him that true power doesn't need noise. It needs presence. "Let me teach you something," he said quietly. "That dog has more honor in his paws than you have in your entire life." He unclipped Rex's leash. The dog stood tall, chest out, eyes fierce again, no longer the victim. "Rex," Keller said calmly, "stand down." The dog stayed still, disciplined and focused, his gaze locked on the boys. They backed away, realizing for the first time, this wasn't just any dog, and this wasn't just any man. Keller could have called the police. He could have shouted, punished, or fought. But instead, he did something none of them expected. He looked at them and said, "You'll make it right. Follow me." He led them to the town's animal shelter just down the road. The boys hesitated, but Keller's quiet authority left no room for argument. Inside the shelter, the smell of disinfectant and bark filled air replaced their arrogance with silence. Keller handed them cleaning supplies. "You're going to spend your afternoon here, washing kennels, refilling bowls, and seeing what real loyalty looks like." At first, they resisted. But after hours of scrubbing and watching abandoned dogs wag their tails just for a bit of attention, something in them changed. By sunset, the same boys who had laughed at Rex were kneeling beside a cage, petting a trembling puppy they had just fed. Keller stood at the doorway, arms crossed, Rex by his side. "Now," he said softly, "say it." One by one, the boys looked up. "We're sorry." Rex wagged his tail slowly, a small gesture of forgiveness. That night, Keller took Rex home, gave him a warm bath, and sat quietly on the porch as the waves rolled in the distance. He looked down at his old companion and smiled. "People forget what respect means," he murmured, stroking Rex's fur. "But you reminded them today." Rex rested his head on Keller's knee, eyes half closed, content, loyal, proud. The next morning, a note appeared on Keller's doorstep. It was from the boys. It read, "We cleaned the whole shelter today. We're coming back tomorrow. Thank you for showing us what real strength looks like." Keller smiled. "Mission accomplished," he whispered. And from that day on, whenever people in town saw Rex sitting outside a cafe, they didn't see just a dog. They saw a hero's companion, and the silent reminder that even kindness can have the heart of a soldier.